You know, when we think of online fraud, we might still picture some clumsy email with typos. But that is not the world we live in anymore. Today, it's a massive, multi-billion-dollar global industry. It uses some seriously sophisticated psychology, and as we're about to see, is fueled by a hidden reality that is just hard to even believe. So how did we get here? And what does a modern super scam really look like under the hood? Okay, let's get into it.
Let's just start with this number, $2.4 billion. That's billion with a B. According to a recent FTC report, that is how much money scammers managed to steal from adults over the age of 60 in just the last year alone. It's a number that's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but believe me, the story behind it is even more alarming.
And here's the thing, this isn't some slow creep. This trend is absolutely exploding. I mean, look at this chart. Just 4 years back in 2020, the number was around $600 million. Today, it's quadrupled. And what's really driving this insane growth? Well, it's not just more scams. It's the rise of these unbelievably high-value scams. We're talking about people losing over 100 grand in a single go.
So that just begs the question, right? How are these scammers so good at getting people to part with these massive, life-altering sums of money? And maybe the even bigger question is, who are these people? Who is actually on the other side of that screen pulling all the strings? Well, the answers are probably not what you think. Okay, so to really get the how, you gotta start with the where. Scammers aren't just stumbling upon their victims by accident. Nope. They've set up shop in specific digital hunting grounds where, let's be honest, millions of us are spending our time every single day.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Here it is, laid out plain and simple by a top fraud prevention director. Social media is, without a doubt, the #1 risk zone. The very platforms we use to connect with our friends and family have become, in her own words, infested with fraudsters. Pretty strong language, right?
And the data? Oh, the data absolutely backs this up. A report from Lloyds Bank found that for your average online shopping scam, a staggering 70%, that is 7 out of every 10, gets its start on a meta platform. We're talking Facebook, Instagram. It's an environment these fraudsters have just perfected for their own gain.
And look, we're not talking about some weird exotic scams here. They are preying on things we want and need every single day. The top reported scams are for stuff like cars, concert tickets, new clothes, even driving lessons. They just pop up fake ads and marketplace listings for things they know are in high demand, which makes this threat feel so immediate and so real.
But here's the kicker. As common and as annoying as those shopping scams are, that's not where the really big money is being lost. The most financially devastating type of scam by a mile is investment scams. They cost older adults almost $750 million in 2024. This is the big leagues. This is where you find the most elaborate, most manipulative cons that lead to those truly catastrophic losses.
Which brings us to the main event, really. We're going to dissect what I'm calling a super scam. We're going to do a deep dive into one of the most notorious and frankly cruelest cons operating today. It's known as pig butchering. And it's this toxic cocktail of a romance scam, investment fraud, and some seriously intense psychological manipulation.
The name itself, which comes from the Chinese sha zhu pan, is just chilling. It's exactly as brutal as it sounds. The scammer sees their target as a pig that needs to be fattened up with trust, with affection, with false promises of wealth. And then once the victim has put in all the money they possibly can, comes the slaughter, when the scammer just disappears with every last cent.
And they follow a very specific 4-stage playbook. First, it's all about gaining trust. This is not a rush job. They will spend weeks, sometimes months, building this deep, often romantic connection. Then comes stage 2, introducing the investment. It's usually some can't-lose crypto deal. They'll even show fake returns and let the victim withdraw a little bit of profit just to build their confidence. Stage 3, collecting the money. By now, the victim is totally bought in, and they're convinced to move huge sums of money into the scammer's fake app or website. And finally, the slaughter. The scammer cuts all contact, the website vanishes, and the money is just gone. Forever.
So we've covered the what, the where, and the how. But what about the who? I mean, who is doing this? Well, this is where the story takes a really, really dark turn. The person you think you're talking to, they might not be who you think they are at all.
Here's the twist. The person on the other end of that chat, the one carrying out the scam, many of them are not master criminals. They are victims themselves, victims of human trafficking, forced into this against their will. These operations are being run out of these huge, guarded compounds. People call them fraud factories. They're mostly in Southeast Asia. Traffickers lure people from their homes with fake job offers, and as soon as they arrive, their passports are taken, they're held captive by organized crime gangs and forced to run these scams, sometimes 12 hours a day or more, under the constant threat of violence. The UN estimates that hundreds of thousands of people are trapped in this system right now. It's just horrifying.
Okay, I know. This is a complex and really heavy problem. But knowledge is power here. It's your first and best line of defense. Understanding the scammer's playbook is the single most effective way to protect yourself and the people you care about. So let's break down exactly what to look for. You have got to be on alert for these red flags. It might start with a simple wrong number text or a random friend request. Right away, they'll want to move the chat to an encrypted app like Telegram. Why? To hide their tracks. They will always have an excuse for not doing a video call because, well, the picture on their profile isn't actually them. And then the pitch comes, a guaranteed investment that creates this massive sense of urgency. If you push back or ask too many questions, they'll often get angry or defensive. Trust those gut feelings. They are huge red flags.
So let's just put it side by side to make it crystal clear. A genuine person, they're willing to hop on a video call and prove who they are. Their financial advice is cautious, they respect your decisions. A scammer, it's the exact opposite. They hide, they promise the impossible, they rush you, and they always want you to use some sketchy, unknown app or website. Knowing this difference, that's your shield.
So, we've covered the staggering scale of this, the scammer's playbook, and the hidden human cost. This isn't just about protecting our bank accounts anymore. It's about understanding this massive criminal enterprise that is hurting people on both sides of the screen. So the only question left is, now that you know the playbook, who in your life needs to hear this? Who are you going to share it with?